Hello, welcome to Matriarch Alchemy. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Allie.
Today we are going to talk about coping with grief, trauma, and life. As we all know, we've been through some trauma and grief with suicide and death with Allie's father. And sometimes we talk about how we're going to handle these things, right? So, being strong all the time.
Yeah. I feel like it's such a broad thing, but you always have children or adults that you're like, wow, they're just so strong. You're always expecting them to be able to do things by themselves, right? Um, and I feel like the being strong and especially being like the strong sibling can be like mentally draining, especially when dealing with grief. So you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you kind of have to pull all of it together and be that person, especially for like younger siblings. And I don't know, it does take like a mental toll, and you kind of feel maybe like some resentment towards not even just your parents, but just like in general of like, I always had to be so strong for everybody else, but when do I get to be weak? Or when do I get to have someone else take care of me? You
Yeah,
know?
I would say as being an eldest sibling, which we both are essentially.
Yeah.
I had an older adopted sibling, but that was having a lot of mental health issues, right? So I always kind of took on the role that I was the eldest sibling. I took care of everyone. I was the one allowed to babysit.
Mm-hmm.
I always had to get perfect grades. I had to follow all the rules. Had to be perfect, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I would say just from life in general, like you do get resentment towards, say, the siblings that aren't doing that, the ones that don't have to follow all the rules, or that they get to be the fun young baby and
They can do no wrong.
oh, must be nice.
No, I mean, it is interesting because, like, I never felt like, you or dad ever, like, forced me to be this perfect person.
Mhm.
But it was that external pressure, and maybe from being a daughter, but also being just the oldest and always having to take care of my little brother.
Mhm.
Um, it's like I had to fight for attention because I
Okay.
wasn't the new young baby anymore. I was the oldest who had it together,
What do you
but
mean?
I didn't play sports that my dad understood. So it was like I'm just fighting for that attention.
Mm.
So it's hard, like having that pressure, especially from a young age, of like you have to be perfect all the time.
Mhm.
Um, and being the strong one,
Well,
especially
that
during
seems like
grief.
that stems a lot more just from than childhood situations and grief. Although I would still feel like we might continue feeling that way now going forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, going into grief, I would say the biggest thing with being the quote unquote strong one is like everyone looks to you. Everyone's expecting you to like help them through their emotions.
Mhm.
And then you also feel that pressure of being that the therapist or the support that like younger siblings need or family members needed for that. But then you never got your own time to just like actually grieve and break down. And you didn't have someone to go to that you could do those for in the
Mhm.
same way that like everyone else comes to you. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah. Well, part of I think what I experienced anyway being strong all the time, my way of handling stuff was like always being prepared. So I've already thought through every horrible thing that could happen. So if we're
yeah.
going to go camping, when I pack,
Yeah,
I've
no,
thought of
I know.
every possible, oh my gosh.
Scenario.
So like we would go off into the woods and go dirt bike riding, right? So I've already had every terrible possible thought of what could go wrong.
Yep.
And I've packed my bags accordingly, and I have my trauma kit, and I took my trauma class, and I know what to
Yeah.
do for head injuries
Neck
and bleeding
injuries.
and bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm always prepared. And one thing that starts to happen from that then is everyone is relying on you so much that they don't realize how exhausted you are, because the strong one sometimes needs to be taken care of too.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard to not put yourself in that situation of being the
Hmm.
the one who just knows what to do in every situation and how to do it. I recently feel like what?
You're just being,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You're the
No,
one that's
I feel like recently I've had to like pull myself back from helping people too much in those situations because I've lived through things, whether that's life, getting an apartment, or like doing all those things. I know how the
Yeah.
processes work, but now it's like, when other people are asking me about it, I'm like, okay, maybe this is like a learning curve or a learning situation for you, and I can't tell you how to do everything from step 1 to step 12 with all the A, B, and C's.
Well, that's how people learn, right? You have to make mistakes. You have to do the work. So someone's doing it for you.
It's hard being a people pleaser, though, in that sense, where you're like, I want to help others that I care about.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that about myself too, and I've worked harder lately to stop taking care of other people, when they don't need it. Or I'm like, why am I interfering? I'm interfering with their karma. I'm stopping them from learning. Even I've been asked before by your little brother to say, stop getting in the way when I might need to learn the hard way. And so the one thing I've noticed too for myself anyway, which I think I noticed this a lot about you when you were younger, and I'd have to ask if you still feel this way now, is like hyper independence. So I don't trust other people to do things for me because they're not going to do it right or do it good enough
or do it the way I would want to do it,
or you're not doing it in the order I would have or the way I would, right? So then you make it hard for other people to help you. Sometimes you just gotta like let go a little bit.
No, I do think, I feel like a lot of this is from like trauma of being the oldest daughter that you and I are talking about.
So this is not about coping so much as being the eldest daughter.
It's a struggle being like the eldest daughter. Girls from a young age are expected to take care of others, right? Your little siblings. Oh, you're gonna be such a good mom when you're older. Like that's the thing that is, given to little girls, not little boys. But that's another topic.
Sometimes.
But yeah, the hyper independence. It probably is something I still struggle with. I don't know how to ask for help. And if I do, I feel wrong for asking for help.
So do you feel like you have a hard time delegating tasks of which ones you can handle other people doing?
Depends on the situation. Depends how like clean cut I need it.
Just like if I ask people that want to help me when I'm cooking. And they're like, what do you need me to do?
I'm like, what can I handle if you do it wrong?
Oh my God. I'm going to exactly show you how I'm going to cut this carrot. I would like you to repeat what I'm doing. I'm not going to say chop up the carrot and then I come over and I'm like,
what are you doing over here?
I didn't say dice the carrot. No. Okay. No, never mind. Doesn't matter.
No, I get it. It's hard.
What are we doing here?
I think the hyper independence though turns into that we expect others to be able to read our minds. Because that's what I struggle with is like, oh, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? And I leave it up to broad interpretation, right? But I'm expecting a certain outcome in a certain way that you do things. And when you do it wrong, I'm like, you've seen me do this 600 times the way I do it. How
have you not been watching while I took care of you and pampered you?
But I do think it is like, okay, it's going to get done, and I've had to just like tell myself like, okay, it's still gonna happen. Whatever it is gonna get done. It might not be the way that I personally wanted to get it done or do it.
Yeah.
But I kind of have to learn how to step out of that, like everything that I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it, and turn into like, okay, point A to point B. Doesn't matter how we get there. I ask for something.
Some
stuff
happen. You have to let go of so you're not exhausted, right?
Yeah.
So besides the delegating, it's also not being a control freak, which I think most people become a control freak. Now, granted, there's OCD and some of that's mental, but when you've gone through trauma or some of these different scenarios, we're dealing with people who feel like keeping control keeps everything, good, right? So
It's a way to control
not
your own
keeping all your
emotions.
balls in the air. Like, yeah, you're inviting in then, I don't know what could happen today. I don't know what's going to happen. So I might freak out,
Yeah,
right?
it's weird how
I'm trying to
people
think
would
how I'm trying to say that.
classify it of like, oh wow, they're just such a go-getter. They're constantly busy. They're doing all these things. Like, how do they have that many hours in the day, right?
Busyness.
But it's people who are doing all of that who might be trying to just control everything that they possibly can
Mm-hmm.
because there's other factors that they can't, like how they feel about things. So cover it up as much as possible. Don't feel it, right?
Mm,
Stay busy so I don't think about it.
mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
trying to reach for that control that you've lost in other aspects of your life, especially to emotions, I do think
Yeah.
that plays a big part into it.
I would say my biggest thing is how do we learn how to let go more? To let go of control, let go of the reins, to relax.
I mean, it is like what one of the steps of healing is being able to relax and let go of the reins a little bit. I mean, I
Is there
do.
anything you found like actually helps you to feel like you're actually trying or you're actually doing something to be more relaxed and like becoming softer or allowing help? Is there any way you could say actually just really helped you?
I mean, I do think having a partner who was like, "Please stop being so aggressive and just chill." You're like, "Why are you doing
It's
that?"
funny you say that because I was just sitting there going, you and I are getting better at it, but we're dating people that are actually helping,
Yeah.
in that scenario where they're providing that level of like, hey, you don't have to do everything. You can count on me and you know,
And I don't want to say that having a partner is going to do that for you.
no. But I
This is
would
just something
say
that I
there's been other
personally,
people
yeah,
before that made it worse.
I think that having a support system, whether that is a partner, family, friends, who can be like, just okay, from a third party standpoint, you need to chill out. Like, you need to take a step back, you need to relax, learn how to delegate tasks, whether that's to your future self,
Yeah.
but also realizing that if something doesn't happen, like, okay, you didn't get your laundry done today, the world isn't going to end. Even though you'd set this set list in your head of how everything needed to happen or what needed to happen today, it's like the world's not ending. It isn't that serious, and you can do it another day.
Just remind me of something which you can tell me if this doesn't relate. So my boyfriend has a fitness watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we travel a lot, and I see him take it off on the airplane.
Start shaking it.
And I went, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I got to close all my rings." And I'm like, "No, well, the point of that is to say you've stood this much, you stepped this many times."
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, I don't have control over this. We're sitting on an airplane. I can't get my stand thing." And I said, "I think you do have control over this. It's like means on the times when you're before and after the flight, right? You need to be standing, you need to be walking, or like if that's where your goal is, if it's so important." And he was like, "Well, I don't, there's not enough hours in the day." And I was like,
I do. I think that's a
hold on. I go,
overused
"Well, now you're just closing the rings, so it says you closed your rings, but now you don't actually have
sense of
an
accomplishment.
accurate description or a depiction of what you accomplished or with in my mind, the watch is to tell you what you actually are being able to fit in. So if you're on a plane, if you had a really busy day of meetings, you're sitting at a conference, whatever, that's the actual reality of your standing and your walk time, right? So cheating it just to close the ring isn't the same as, okay, I'm going to go take a walk around the block to close the ring. Or I'm going to stand up in the back of the room during this conference because I need to stand longer. I'm just sitting too much.
Well, I do think it is like kind of a shortcut, and I do think it's an overuse. Like,
Sorry, I'm hitting my drink.
I don't know,
You put it too far.
it's a shortcut, and it's one of those things like a sense of accomplishment that let's say with just the rings as the examples. Like, okay, when you see all those ring clothes at the end of the day, you're like, wow, I did so good. Like, I'm proud of myself. But
Yeah.
personally, like, if I lay down and I'm like, oh yeah, I got all my rings, but I've been sitting here going like this, shaking it, I think that's like, where's your sense of accomplishment? It just goes into like school where people use AI to write their stuff. Where's your sense of pride in that anymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, I just like the example of, I get that you just wanted to close the rings, but some people are very checklisty. He's a very checklist person, so it's like, oh, I have to get these things done. But now I'm seeing, oh, you would have maybe a sense of, I failed today because I didn't hit this goal or I didn't finish these things. And I just think that translates to a lot of other people for the way that they do things. So when you think about being strong all the time, you do have to take into consideration your life and your situation of, how strong can I be today? How many steps can I actually take today? I'm going to have a 7-hour flight.
well, but also having grace for yourself for days that you don't get those accomplishments. I mean, there are days that we are so busy or we have things going on, and let's say we don't go to the gym. Yeah, we lay down in bed and we're like, oh, I'm so upset we didn't go to the gym today. Like, oh my, all of these thoughts. And then I'm like, oh wait, it isn't that serious. Like, I'm gonna go tomorrow if I have time.
And try again. I mean, every day doesn't, it's not perfect.
Life isn't consistent the same way that us control freaks want it to be. Life gets in the way, especially if you have, family, friends, or whatever, kids. I can only imagine everything else is going to get in the way. It's just learning to like go, yeah, I'm sad about that, but you know what? I'm going to go harder tomorrow.
Yeah.
On whatever it is. Or
yeah, and sometimes it's just making up for it. But, I mean, we may have a standard way we can get through our day really easily when we're home.
Yeah.
But keeping all your standards when you travel can be really difficult. Like eating the same way. Oh man, there's so many good foods at all the restaurants.
You're also like maybe not walking as much, but then
sometimes we walk more.
Sometimes you walk more. So maybe you
don't have a rental car. We're walking blocks, and I'm like, I'm mad I can't wear my good shoes.
Yeah, maybe you didn't go to the gym while you're on vacation, but guess what? You walked like
10 miles
more than you ever would have at home. So like,
yeah, I mean, there's balance, and you can work on that. And sometimes it's just setting precedent and being more prepared of having realistic expectations of what life can be, so you don't have to feel like you're so strong all the time. And I think you hit on the nail on the head there when you say you have to give yourself grace sometimes. For not every day's gonna be good, not every day's gonna be perfect.
I mean, I feel like I used to do that. Like at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh, here's the list of things I didn't get done or I'm upset that I didn't do, right? And none of it was like life or death, right? But then now I've gotten to a point where, I might sit down in bed and be like the same thing of, oh, I'm sad I didn't get that done, but there's always tomorrow. Or, okay, when I have time the next 2 days, I'll figure that out, right?
Yeah.
But it's giving yourself grace and like not over analyzing yourself or beating yourself up for it. And I think that's where like the bad spiral goes. It's like the negative, oh, I'm such a failure because I didn't get 10,000 steps a day. A failure because I didn't do X, Y, Z. Like, no.
So would you say being strong all the time still computes and resonates with you when it comes to dealing with your grief? Like, do you still feel like that's a thing?
Sometimes. I think it's hard classifying like the way that I feel still. I've got other priorities that I'm trying to like figure out. So I do feel like I put my grief on a back burner for a while. Especially right when it happened. Like I was like, okay, don't worry about it. We're gonna figure out what I need to do. Where do I need to go? XYZ checklist, right? And then okay, now I need to make sure that my brother's doing okay every day and like check in. And he's like, leave me alone. But I have like my own. I feel like I need to check on everybody, make sure everyone else is okay before I can accept that I'm not okay, maybe. And And being so strong was like,
Do you think that is avoidance sometimes if you want to
oh yeah.
take care of others or you want to take care of your brother instead
Mm.
of facing your
I
own?
mean, yes, but also it could be a way of coping of
Mm.
like, okay, I still can take care of others, but still need to take time for myself. And I don't know if this is just because I grew up with a dad who never showed emotions. I always felt like showing emotions was
Yeah.
like weak. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, I remember the first time ever crying after all of that, like for real. And it hit me like a truck. And I had to get out of bed. I go into the bathroom. I close all the doors. Was like trying to be as quiet as possible, crying. And
At your own apartment,
at
you
my
mean
own
at home?
apartment.
Yeah.
But then, my boyfriend like opened the door and he's like, hey, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, like, are you okay?
You're crying.
And I was like, get out of here. Like, I'm fine. Just let me figure it out. And he's like, why can't you just like let yourself be in your feelings? I'm here. Talk to me if you don't. If you want me to sit with you, great. But
Yeah.
it's one of those weird things of being so strong is like you're not allowed to have feelings about things or let others see that you are weaker. And that's like my biggest thing that I've had to deal with in this whole thing was not letting others see that it beat me up so much.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it's more.
And that was something that he was in his mindset, was like being strong all the time or feeling like weakness was a very negative trait, right? But not so much weakness as normal human behaviors were considered weak.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's just from that age group of men, especially how they've been taught to feel about emotion.
Some of it I think was from his upbringing and his father, right? And some of it was from society.
Yeah.
The other one was from football.
Yeah.
I think they were just you brush
it off, you get
brush
a
yourself
concussion,
off, you rub dirt in it, and you
get a
keep
concussion,
going.
you run back out. Like, it isn't that serious.
Yeah.
It is interesting that hearing some of that, but
well, just to keep moving, the next thing we wanted to talk about was coping with dark humor.
yeah.
So it's a lot of dark humor in our house. Family. Let's say our house.
Our family unit.
So my first thing I was thinking when I was reflecting on why we use dark humor, before I ever looked anything up, I didn't go to, online. I was like, what is it? Why do we do this? Or how do we get there? Because we've had some hilarious dark jokes that I don't know, other
so
people would
bad.
be they'd be like, wow, you guys are messed up. No, but is laughing healing?
Yeah.
So I'd say in some regards, yes, 100%, right? Some of it's coping.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I end up doing a little reading on it. So grief, let's see. Well, dark humor can make it's the thing safer to process, right? So if it's something that's really big or really disturbing, it can help you bring it into a place in your mind that it's easier to process. So I think that makes sense why a lot of people and first responders, and Allie was an EMT for a while, like briefly.
I think anybody who goes through anything traumatic, I mean, I always think of the groups of people who are, going through traumatic things every day. It's like, if you don't have dark humor, what else are you going to have? And it's like, okay, now it's turned into like,
it's just dark.
It's overwhelming. It's just dark.
Might as well have dark humor if it's going to be dark.
And it's all these other things. So yeah, I do think it's important to find a way to process, especially if you're dealing with it constantly.
Yeah.
It might not be funny to other people, but you know what? If that's what you have to do to like get through something.
Yeah. Well, and so laughing helps regulate their stress. So I think that's why sometimes you even see people sitting at a funeral or talking afterwards, like telling stories about the person or enjoying it. Like, you laugh, it really does help break that tension of how stressful things can be.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think of it as like a pressure valve. So you're just releasing all that pent up tension, you know. Okay, so do you feel like people feel like they're more in control if they're making jokes about something hard?
I feel like it's an odd way to ask the question in my mind, but
Well, okay.
like in control of their emotions by making these
Or
like
if
dark
you're
jokes.
just of life, because life's just so you don't have control.
Yeah.
So would you say you feel like so if there's something you might have fear, you're gonna go through something hard, does
I don't.
joking about it put you in the power seat or in the driver's seat, to deal with trauma?
I mean, maybe for your own personal emotions, but I don't think I've
Hmm.
ever thought of it like that. It's more
Hmm.
just like I make a dark
I don't
joke
think
to
people
laugh.
think about it, but I think it does actually give them that a little bit.
I think you get maybe more control over like how you process that for sure.
Hmm.
But I don't know. That's a very interesting question that I don't really have a great answer
That's
for.
okay. So I did read that those with dark humor have a higher cognitive flexibility and a higher tolerance for uncertainty.
Maybe it's from rewiring your brain to be able to process those harder
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, what else are you gonna do at the end of the day? You're gonna cry about it every day, or you're just gonna laugh it off, and it might make someone uncomfortable, but
Maybe it's just giving us balance between, you know, life. If you're this dark and this heavy over here, you need light and funny and whatever over here. And
balance it out.
so you're just bringing some more balance into the yin and yang of your life, to
Probably.
have some of everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do at this point, right?
Yeah. So one thing I want to talk to you then about is like surviving like the burnout from all of this. So coping with all of this stuff definitely can make you, and being strong all the time, I would definitely say we can get where we're burning out, hardcore, like you're exhausted. You need a spa day or a bath day, or you go to the gym. Like
Xanax.
everybody has their own thing. So we wanted to talk about healthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And we were talking about what that could definitely be very different things for each individual. Also, depending on how your brain works and what you're good at. So, like, I tend to feel like I am super, super calm. So I tend to be the let's meditate and do yoga and take a hot bath kind of person. But then there's more things,
It doesn't
right?
really help me personally.
But if you're
all the time.
you're an overthinker, now you need different kind of tasks. So what do you like to do?
I think one for me is like getting moving where I can mentally process things a little bit better is like different scenery. So like, going to the gym, going on a walk, whatever in that sense. But I also really like keeping like my brain or my mind and hands busy. So that like hand brain connection kind of thing. So like I like knitting or video games, like those things that make me have to think about something else.
And you really can't think about anything else during some of those activities because
No.
you would be, wouldn't be able to.
You can't do those two things at once. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
instead of worrying about all the things I need to get done, obviously, unless I have to, but like when they're overwhelming to a point that I'm like burned out, I'm like, okay, I need to do something that is productive for my own like mental health. I need a way to quiet the voices, so to speak. Not like I have them, but my own voice in my head that will not ever shut up. About all the things I need to do or what I'm doing, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I've recently been knitting a dragon. So don't know how that happened. I just picked up knitting in the last like month. So
I think it's because at Christmas they gave you guys those little kits. I was at a gaming
All the
store and they have
rolls.
little knitting kits with these cute little creatures from different things, like little Batman
Yeah, I did it in
characters
one
or Harry
day.
Potter characters.
Yeah,
And
I
I
did
thought the
it in
girls
one
might think it was
day,
fun to learn.
and I was like, I kind of wanted that to last longer.
It was
So
too
then I was
small of a
like thinking of
project.
all these things, and I was like, I kind of want to knit more. And my
Be
boyfriend
sure
was
knitting
like,
us like some cute clothes or like a
I
swimsuit
haven't
cover up.
gotten that far yet.
How about
Okay,
a
I'm
swimsuit
practicing.
cover up?
But I mean, that's
How
fine.
long has it taken you so far to like? I saw legs on your desk.
It's a dragon graveyard.
Little knitted
They're not
legs
attached yet.
sitting on your desk.
Oh jeez, I don't know.
You know how many hours this thing?
Not hour. I couldn't tell you hours.
Oh. So what other things do you like to do to quiet your mind besides knitting? Because obviously not everyone is going to want to knit. But do you have any other suggestions for others? If you're an overthinker.
I think it is finding those things that do quiet your mind, and it is going to be different for everybody. Like you said, I mean, there are days where I'm like, I could just go for a hot bath with some candles and just like meditate. But then other days, it's like I need to keep my hands busy so I don't think about it. Staying moving, that is like one of my favorite things for like processing things.
Yeah.
Like when I've been looking at one thing and you only can see one way for it, I'm like, okay, I need to get away. And I go to the gym for an hour, or I go on a walk, and I'm like, think about it more. But while you're moving, I think there's something about the way your brain processes stuff while your legs are like moving. And I feel like I can sit back down and look at it from a different view and go, oh, okay, like why didn't I think of that?
Well, and I think that your body moving helps reset your stress hormones. You're balancing things out as you're moving and you're drinking water and doing things that change your equilibrium. So if you're feeling extremely stressed out, that's a nice physical thing you can do to actually change that, right?
Also,
It's interesting, like you want to do things that make you not think of other stuff. So if I'm really stressed out, I actually really struggle with those kind of activities because then I feel like I'm avoiding it instead of processing it. So like I like to read, and if I were reading a book and my brain just keeps going back to the thing, I'll be like, I can't read this book right now. But I like to paint, and I can process while I'm painting.
So that's what I mean by like knitting or other stuff is like the same thing of, okay, yes, it requires me to mostly focus on this. But at the same time, the moments I'm like, okay, I'm allowed to think about it while I'm grabbing something. And it's like, oh, process that emotion. I might get a little stuck, but like it's the same thing as painting. It's like finding those things to keep your hands busy. It kind of like quiets your mind where it can really focus on like, okay, why am I so stressed out about this? Or what do I need to do? That's what I think it is like the hand and feet busyness keeps your. We're just talking about fidgeting. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that I've always felt like the advice I would give to you guys as kids is when you're struggling with things is action, right? So you hear me say that all the time, but it's the one thing you can actually do to change your outer world of how can I actually be doing something instead of stewing over whatever it is. So exercise. I know not everybody wants to go to the gym, but gosh, everyone needs to be doing something that's for their physical health. And you got to find one thing you like to do. I'm not saying you have to lift weights or you have to go swim for a triathlon, but you walk at bare minimum.
I think it's just finding something.
Even go to the park, go to a really nice park by your house, or walk around your neighborhood. I don't know. It depends where you live, if it's safe.
But I mean, just finding something that is like
treadmill,
gets your body moving in some way that's 15 minutes or more.
Put on your favorite show and walk on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Still,
if you don't have a treadmill or you're in.
I'm trying to think of options. Yeah.
I mean, you can do like a quick little. There's like so many HIIT workouts on YouTube.
Oh my gosh,
there's so many. You can even find like yoga on YouTube. Just follow that for 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. Sometimes I do that before bed when I cannot turn my brain off to go to sleep. I'm like, okay, I need to do some yoga or something to just
And
tell my body.
you can Google bedtime yoga, and it's yoga that help you unwind and stretch, and then add a 10-minute meditation at the end, and then we're be totally ready for bed. You know what I mean? Like, you can do all kinds of stuff.
I think it's just finding what does help you, though. It's not everybody. I mean, I've met some people in my life, and they're like, I cannot meditate to save the life of me. And I'm like,
those are the people that need to meditate.
I've tried to teach someone.
Me too. If you can't sit,
and I can't.
I know who you're talking about. Well, the main thing is to not be turning to nightly alcohol.
Phones.
Because doom scrolling, even, scrolling makes you completely, you're in like receiving reactive mode. So you're reacting to everything in the world. That does not help your stress. It makes it significantly worse. So you do have to learn that that's not the time to scroll. You're not self-soothing when you're in a reactive state. But you'll find if you put your phone down, now you have to say, okay, now I have to be creative. What do I want to do? It's just me. It's my thoughts. I'm at home. I'm going to do these three. Maybe I'm going to do a puzzle. I'm going to do something creative. I'm going to go fix that thing on the wall that I've been needing to fix for 6 months. But maybe a task.
Yeah.
Something you're handy. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I think sometimes it does get hard. Like, I don't know if I'm feeling right now like anxious from school starting, but also like still processing some of my later emotions with still us talking about dad more probably is part of it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I've noticed I'm a lot more stressed, probably with all the compounding factors recently. And
you've been all very busy.
Yeah, so I think I'm getting that burnout where I'm like getting to the peak before burnout. I'm like, oh gosh, my emotional burnout. And so I've been waking up with like the most tense jaw in my life.
Oh.
And so now I'm trying to figure out.
Stop clenching.
I know. I've never clenched in my sleep before until this last week. But I'm like, okay, I feel it. I feel that I'm anxious. I recognize, okay, this is not me being like crazy. I'm just feeling really, anxious and stressed out. And there's probably all these things. I don't need to solve it, but what can I actively do to help myself?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's taking the time to do those activities that I enjoy, whether that's, okay, and let me make sure I get some movement in some way for my body, or taking the time to meditate. Like, I'm trying to actively take those steps, but I've recognized it and I'm trying to just go, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm still going to pacify it because it needs some love. That means I need love for myself.
No, I think it's really good just to be able to reflect and to have awareness, and to say, okay, I'm aware that I feel this way. I'm aware this is happening or this is coming up for me. So when you can take the time to reflect, which you're probably not doing if you're doom scrolling, so it's like finding things to do that you can actually reflect on, not the thing, but why am I reacting this way to the thing?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean, yes, but it's not also, I feel like you don't always have to know why. Because, like, I don't feel like I'm currently having like anxiety, stress from something actually specific. It's like, okay, I understand this might have to do with all these things, but I don't need to dive deeper into it. I just need to find a way to tell my nervous system that we're okay. Because I do think it is a lot of that like trauma response that's like,
yeah,
oh, panic, oh, panic.
No, I feel panicky. What can I do? What do I know works? What can I learn for myself to try new things that work?
It's your
To
body
actually
telling you to take care of yourself a little bit.
Yeah, maybe you start renaming those things. I think we talked about this once before. It's like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. No, I'm feeling really buzzy, excited right now. My body's so excited about how busy I am, but I actually need to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, that's how.
But maybe you name them more positive things, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's negative self-talk.
That becomes so hard, I think, for people.
Well, and saying, "Oh, I'm so scared right now." Oh, maybe you're just super excited about what possibly could happen, and you don't know what's going to happen. So maybe you're just excited. Maybe you're not scared.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, oh, like you just say, oh, I just feel really, I just feel very spicy right now.
Oh gosh.
Like whatever it is, like I don't know. I think try to label your feelings in a more positive manner.
I think
Whatever it is
yes,
you're
for like
experiencing.
everyday life experiences, totally renaming them. If you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious because I haven't got this job opportunity or I have all these things, like what am I going to do? And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited right now because I'm so busy with all these things going on. I'm so excited for these opportunities.
Mhm.
Yes, rechange it for your brain.
Yeah.
But like recognizing, yeah, sometimes your body does go, hey, we're really anxious. We don't know why. And it might be because of trauma. It might be because of something else. Like, but, trying to reframe it, but also like just recognizing it
Mm-hmm.
and going, okay, that's my body telling me I need to like love myself in whether it's reframing it in the words or taking care of myself in other ways. It's this nervousness is actually my body saying, hey, can you love me a little bit?
Well, and just knowing for yourself when you're ruminating, if you are just thinking about it over and over again, you've got to get yourself out of the loop. That's one thing I think is you can just sit and think about a thing you can't change over and over again. But how about you think about what you're going to build moving forward? And if you're dealing with grief, you're going to say, how can I honor this person moving forward? And they would be proud of me, as opposed to, oh, I just miss them so much. I miss them so much. I miss them so much. How about what would make them so proud of you, right? And not you ruminating, but you getting out there and freaking accomplishing things still.
I think that was really hard for me to like kind of recognize because I really struggled with all the what ifs and what I won't get, for the longest time. And I mean, it's still, but I've turned it into like, okay, I didn't want to graduate college because it was like, oh, it just feels like he won't be there. He's been rooting for me this whole entire time. But now it's like, no, I'm going to do it. I might do it in a different way. I might not walk, but I'll choose to do something else more fun. But like, I'm going to do it for me.
Do you think you were trying to push out your graduation because you just didn't want that moment to come?
I mean, yes, but also no. I didn't try to push it off purposefully in any way. I do think taking time off of school was probably the best thing for me because a lot of my grades did go down from the first 2 weeks. Because how could I sit here and do chemistry while having to call and do all these things and whatever?
Yeah, I think the really big hard part for that scenario was we had recently divorced. So I was the ex-spouse, right? So now they're going to the children to deal with his estate, deal with his body, his remains, his cremation. Like, can you imagine doing that while you're in the middle of your college classes?
Made it where since I was the oldest, I was the one who had to do it, and it wasn't my brother.
I think you kind of took that role a little bit, though. You kind of took that responsibility.
But there were there was a few places that were like, "Are you the oldest?" And I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "Okay, then we can't talk to you." Because I don't know I think it was like them thinking of like the succession or whatever. I don't know. It was weird, but yeah, that all of that stress and then dealing with other people's feelings and being everyone else's therapist.
You think you're just getting to the point where you just got to roll with it.
I think yes and no, depending on the situation. I have gotten to a point where I'm just like, I don't even think about it anymore in that sense, where I'm like, okay, you know what? If I'm upset and I'm sad that he won't be there when I graduate, I'm just going to do it differently. Because the thought of everything that I want isn't going to happen. So let's make it completely 180 different. Yes, I can still be excited. I can still do something, but it might not be the way that I originally wanted it to look like. Yeah, I don't know. It's all the what ifs that are just the hardest part, like, oh, it's the missed opportunity with someone, like college graduation,
future opportunities,
getting married, or having
maybe
kids,
the lack of their presence. You mean?
Yeah, I was trying to remember exactly how I had like written it down a while back.
About you can look for a second. I'm going to read you some. So, something I've realized along with being an alchemist and a creative person is that you have to learn to walk in the light and in the darkness. So I tend to not love girls who always say, love and light. It's all love and light. No, it's really not. I mean, man, there's dark in life, and you have to embrace it, and you have to realize that's part of life, right? So I would say I really had gotten to the point where I have embraced this, and I see you starting to dive into it too as you process your grief. And I call it becoming a shadow walker. But you can move through dark experiences
And learn from them.
without losing your alignment. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's important. So to be able to still be experiencing negative, sad things, but you don't lose like who you are. You don't fall to pieces. Your life stays together, and that's just a strength that you have to practice and build. And I don't think that you guys really had to do that up until this time, you know? Like, would you say that's something you would have experienced when you were in high school or younger, or is that more of a
Like grief or moving through that?
moving through dark times while staying in alignment? I feel like it's something
I
you'd be
mean,
more
yes,
aware
but
of as an
no.
adult.
I think it's very different as you become an adult and you realize all these things that might have impacted the way you react.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're a teenager dealing with an alcoholic, you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm just not going to even worry about it. That ain't my job. Not my sheep.
Not my sheep.
What is the saying?
Not my circus.
Not my circus.
Not
Not my
my
monkeys.
Not my sheep.
Not my sheep. I don't know.
These are not my sheep.
This is not my farm. I don't work here. She doesn't even go here. I think
Allie just makes up her own.
You knew what I meant, though.
Someday everyone will be quoting you on this earth.
Not the sheep.
Not my farm. Well,
You know what I meant. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, you're going through hard stuff, but you kind of just, you don't realize the impact that it might be having on yourself when you're so young. Because you do, like, kids are so good at just being like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm gonna go play with my friends Nerf guns. Anyways, like, moving on. Or you're in high school and you're just like, whatever. You got teen angst, so I don't know.
I think so. In high school is when we start really having to deal with hard things, and it does really rock us. It's like that's when we have those moments where that's why you feel teen girls or teen boys go through a lot of angst and a lot of ups and downs on top of stress and hormones changing and all that stuff, right? But I think now that you're a young adult and now you're having to go through bigger, harder things, this is that time I think where you learn that.
I think it's important to have ways to have coping mechanisms, especially for when you go through hard things, like we were talking about earlier. It's like, okay, now I become a shadow walker. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I kind of like it.
Like, wait, what?
I feel kind of cool, like a badass.
You are. You're walking in the shadows and you're staying strong.
But it's like I'm no longer in the shadows. I'm just got my flashlight walking straight through the middle. Like, okay, yeah, I've been here before. Like, I know how to deal with this. But yet again, am I going into that hyper independence of being like, everyone follow me?
Yeah, except for I wouldn't say, while you are holding a flashlight for others, the flashlight is you.
Yeah.
You have your own inner light, and so you can keep shining while you're going through these hard things, and other people can follow you and get help when they're struggling, so
how do you
it's
feel,
just a skill.
Like, what do you think about how I have changed as a person in, let's say, the last 2 to 3 years, and what you like? Do you feel like I've grown? What do you feel like I've changed?
Just maturing. I think you've really been actually sitting with everything you've had to go through and it's going to give you a depth to your personhood, that you're going to be a more intuitive and empathetic person, and you're going to be a better beacon for others because you're actually putting in the work to mature and be better.
I think it's funny. Like, I don't feel like I've done much at all, but like obviously I have and I've dealt with it. But like, I feel like the same person all the time, and it's just like my boyfriend saying, your confidence in yourself in the last like 3 years is so different, and not in like a bad way, but it's like you've become you. You're coming into that like, okay, I got it. I don't need it anymore. Like, I know who I am. I know what I need, but I don't know. Yeah, I do feel like I have kind of come into that like, I know who I am. I don't put up with anything anymore. And being so strong about like
Makes
where
me
my
so
boundaries
happy.
are and like what I'm okay with and what I won't allow. Like, I do feel very strong in those boundaries, especially from being everyone else's therapist for the first 6 months of all of that. I went, you know what? Hard line, we're done. Like, and I'm very proud of who I am today and everything that I've gone through. So,
Well, let's end it right there. I know you have work. So we'll say this is Matriarch Alchemy. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And we're on YouTube if you actually want to watch us talk.
Oh gosh.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't. Maybe keep the mystery going.
Thank you guys and have a wonderful day.
Bye.